Alright guys, so this is the deck profile we played for the Liverpool Regional and the Liverpool side event where I came 4th place, and pretty much we played Grape Dofi, the green-purple Dofi deck with the ability that says at the end of your turn, set 2 Don as active, making events really strong. And for those of you watching this not at the end of the vlog, my voice is essentially gone. If you want to find out how that happened at the Regional, just watch the vlog, it will be on the channel, and yeah. But let's go ahead and get into the deck profile. So what did we actually win and lose to? Well, in the actual event we went 6-4, losing out to Red Purple Lord Dofi due to time on the round, and then I also lost to 2 category players because I bricked both of those games. And then we also took W's against Zoros, Zephy, a category player, Red Purple Luffy player, and another Lord Dofi player, and another Lord Dofi player. We took out literally 2 Lord Dofis, Zoro, Zephy, category, and Red Purple Luffy. So we took out 6 rounds in that. But what did we play in the side event that we actually did well in? Well, in the side event we played round 1 against Red Purple Law. We won that game. Round 2 was against Film Dofi Mirror Match, the first one I had played all weekend, including the main event. Side event we also beat Zoro in the round 3. Round 4, we played against Red Purple Law, losing the dice roll and also bricking really hard, and on turn 1 he played double Gordon, so I just didn't really have a way to deal with him. And then in round 5, my last round of the side event, we played against Blue Croc, taking the W there. So we had a very fun time all out the weekend. For those of you who want to know what happened, go watch the vlog. It'll be up on the channel either before or after this. We'll see what happens. And yeah, I hope you do enjoy, but let's go ahead and get into the deck profile so you guys can see what we played in our Red Purple Dofi list. So I played, sorry, not Red Purple, Green Purple. So I played a film variant of Dofi because I felt like it was better than the Kaido / Law variant that was running around at the event. And what did we play in the deck? Well, starting off we played 4 Gil Tessero. This is the Nami of the deck essentially, and it's a 2k counter. On play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck and add a film card to your hand. This will normally be Gil Tessero or a film Nami because they allow you to search more cards or draw more cards. Next we obviously, as I said, play 4 film Nami. Heart and Soul in the deck. You want to see this in your opening hand every single time because this card is going to allow you to go through your deck, get more cards, get you to the things that you need, and keep your hand big, because that's one of the good things about Film Dofi, where your hand size is just always huge from drawing with Gil Tessero, searching with Nami, and so on and so forth. And then the only other 2 consistency cards that we really played in the deck is 2 Gil Tessero. Gil Tessero is absolutely insane. This card is phenomenal. Just being a card that says -2 Don, draw 2 is absolutely insane. Now you do want to mainly only use this when you're on 10 Don. So if you do play this, be very careful about how you play it. But this card is absolutely mandatory. It's absolutely insane. And it really is just an insanely good card in the deck. I really would not play this deck without it, because just being a card that says draw 2, it helps so much. And especially in the game that I even lost in time, it did technically lose me the game because I had less cards than my opponent when we hit time, but nonetheless, like, this card kept me in so many games, won me so many matches, that it's just like, oh yeah, if I drop this on turn 3 every single time, I'm going to keep drawing 2 cards, I'm going to keep having that advantage. And if I have this in a Nami and they go for the Nami instead of going for this, I'm going to let this die so I can protect this, just because this card absolutely phenomenal, absolutely insane. So yeah, Gil Tessero is nuts. And then a semi-good consistency card that we also played is technically Free Queen. Queen is okay. I personally don't like him. I play him at free purely because if we don't have the Gil Tessero, then he is a good plan B, where we go ahead and drop him Negadon, draw 2, discard 1, and also he's a 6k blocker, which can be pretty decent. But his downside is that you can't get to 10 as easy as you want to, because you're going to keep negging your Don. And if you get Gil Tessero on the board with him, then it's just going to be hard to get to your 10 Don, to go ahead and drop your 10 drop Dofi, which is kind of unfortunate. But he is very good, don't get me wrong. He does have his utilities to draw cards, being a blocker, which is very nice. I just prefer to drop Gil Tessero over him if I see them. If I don't see Gil Tessero, or maybe a second Nami to drop, I'll drop the Queen, because drawing 2 cards and discarding 1, as I said, is decent. But the majority of the time I want to be dropping a Gil Tessero or Nami because they actually let me search or get me cards without losing any advantage, which is the main part of the cards, right? Do apologize for my voice, guys, I really can't help it. But anyway, that's the consistency cards of the deck. What's the rest of the deck? So we play 4 Sugar. Card is absolutely insane. This card has multiple uses. If you're going into the 9 Don term, then you have Film Luffy, you can go ahead and drop Film Luffy, drop another card, and then drop Bliss. So on your following turn, your 10-drop Dofi is guaranteed to rest any high-cost character in like Katakuri or anything along those lines, which makes this card very, very good. In the late game as well, you just drop her, go ahead and rest a 4-cost or less blocker, and then you can win the game. That actually did come up quite a few times, where I just go ahead and drop this to go ahead and deal with a character on board, or to go ahead and deal with a blocker to go for game. Card is very, very good. We also play the 4-film Chopper. It's a 2k counter. I only played it once during the side event, and that was the red purple law game I lost to try and deal with the Gordons. And we also played 2 Shiki, which is just another 2k counter. That's all these cards are for. Next we played the film package, which I'm going to go ahead and give you a lot more of, which is the 2 Usopp, 2 Brook. Now, we played this specific lineup of these film cards because we want to go ahead and drop Brook off of the Luffy sometimes, so we can go ahead and drop Brook into Usopp or Brook into Nami, and then we play the Usopp so we have an additional 2 cards that we can drop off the Brook as well. Like, that's the whole purpose of this line, and I feel like 2 Brook was enough. Like, I didn't really feel like I ever missed it, because the card that we mainly want to be dropping off of it is the Uta when it comes to the film Luffy, where if we are forced to go like into any other combo, we want to go ahead and drop this off the Luffy so we can have essentially 3 blocks on the board to kind of control the board and keep the game in our favor. But when it comes down to the Brook is also very nice if you're forced to go first, where if you open Nami and you open Brook, you're not going to drop the Nami. You only drop Nami if you're going to get advantage out of it. So the majority of the time, what I would do is I would save the Nami if I had the Brook, and then just drop the Brook with the Nami to go ahead and guarantee that I get a search out of the Nami and still have 2 bodies on the board, which is still really, really nice. So it did come up very often like that too. But then we also, as I said, played the film Uta. Like, this is the best card to drop off of the 7-drop Luffy, the film Luffy, because essentially what this card does is on block, you can neg a Don to go ahead and say, oh yeah, this 5 cost or less on your board is rested now. It's very useful and came in clutch a lot of times. So that's when we played it. And then we also, on top of that, obviously played the 4-film Luffy. This is great for if you're on 7 Don or 8, well, primarily 8 Don, to go ahead and drop this, drop the Brook, and then drop an Usopp, or go ahead and drop this and drop the film Uta to go ahead and have a blocker or multiple swings. Like, that's the good thing about this deck. It's very aggro, while also having a lot of protection built in, which is something that I really liked about this deck going into the event. So it was very, very nice playing it all throughout the event. And then the last character we played in the deck was the 4 10-drop Dofi. Guys, when I say this card is just the backbone of Doflamingo, I really mean it. Like, this is probably the best card ever printed. I put this on the level of 10-drop Big Mom, because essentially what this card is going to do, if you drop this card, it's going to say, oh, you've played your turn. That's cool and all, but you know what? Now that all of your stuff is rested, I'm going to rest your leader and 2 other characters, and then just say your turn is essentially skipped on the next turn. Yes, you may be able to play some other characters. Yes, you may be able to do other stuff like that. But this card right here, this 10-drop Dofi, nah, you're finished. You're finished. You're done. You're not playing the game. You're not winning the game. You are finished, for the fact that essentially I've put a 10 card on the board. I said your leader or other characters cannot swing or restand. I've taken away your ability to do a lot of the things that you want to do on your turn, and I'm able to just go ahead and do this continuously if I have multiple in my hand. And if I combine this with the sugar, then, like, if they play a character and I rest the sugar resting that new character, then I guarantee a target to rest with the 10-drop Dofi. There were so many times throughout the event where I literally was just like, okay, I'm going to drop the sugar, rest a card on the board, and then if you play a card on the following turn, then I'm going to rest the sugar and rest that card. And even if you play a small character, I'm not worried, because yes, I'm still resting that card, but the chances are I have a 7-drop Luffy on the board, and I'm able to protect the sugar for following turns, meaning that whatever you play going forward is going to get rested. I'm going to kill something on your board, I'm going to play the 10-drop Dofi, and then I'm just going to win the game from there, because of 10-drop Dofi just says you can't utilize those characters anymore. So it is a very, very strong card, an absolutely insane card in the deck, in my opinion. And then going on to events, I played 11 events. I played 4 Punk Gibson, very strong 4k counter that says the can rest a 4 cost or less. Honestly, I might have actually changed this ratio though, which I'll say about in a minute. 4 Spiderweb, this card is absolutely insane. Being a card that literally just says I can restand a blocker, restanding Uta, restanding Dofi, restanding Queen, restanding Luffy, like restanding anything, restanding Nami is to stop the Nami from being swung out again. Like, this card was absolutely insane throughout the entire event, and being able to play Guild Tessera, let me just draw into these, phenomenal. And then the last one, which actually I wish I played 4 of and played 3 Gibson instead, is 3 Thunder Buggawa. Buggawa is phenomenal. Like, honestly, Buggawa is a card that I really wish before the event I realized I want to play 4 of this, because if you go first with this deck, it is very, very annoying to go ahead and play the game going first. And I would much prefer to have played this at 4 for the fact that it essentially means if I go first and I see this card, I'm still going second. Like, I may lose out on drawing a card, but the Don is what I mainly care about. Having the additional Don to stay on curve with, like, being able to go turn 2, play the Nami, get the search, being able to go turn 5, play the Doflamingo. Like, these things are very important in the deck, and seeing this off life, seeing this in hand when I'm on 2 life, because in this deck I always take the first 2 life. Like, you never need to take less than the first 2 life. Like, the first 2 life are fine to take. It's after that you gotta be careful. It's just like, this card was absolutely phenomenal, and I wish I played 4 of this. I'd have played 3 Gibson and played 4 of this instead, because this card, like, in the early game is absolutely phenomenal. Like, don't get me wrong, this is great in the late game, but like, this is what you need if you're going first. Like, this is really something important, and I really did realize that through the event in some of the games that I actually lost. Like, if I wasn't forced to go first in, like, maybe one of the Big Mom games, Katakuri games I played, like, this card would have been just so good to get me back on curb. But anyway, guys, like, that is the vlog, that's the video, that's everything. That's the end of the YouTube video as well. Like, tell me your thoughts of everything. Tell me your thoughts of the event. Tell me your thoughts of if you enjoyed the vlog. Tell me if you enjoyed this deck profile. Tell me if there's things you learned from this. Honestly, the event was ran very, very well. I enjoyed the side event, the main event. I met a lot of cool people, had a lot of fun throughout the entire weekend, and generally I'm just happy that the event happened. But guys, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video and also the vlog, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Absolute Duelist signing out. Later.